A new secret pack has leaked with brand new cards being within the secret pack. This is separate from a selection pack. Also on Sunday, November 26, 4 p.m. EST on twitch.tv/Decade. I'm going to be leaking a ton of the December pack, ton of leaks. I'm probably going to be leaking throughout the entire stream, so make sure to show up at any point within the stream and you'll be getting leaked on. Now, let's get into what the secret pack is. There's two parts of the secret pack. It is a Dinomorphia secret pack. It's going to have the Therizia, the Kentragina, the Rex Term, the Domain, and all these cards are pretty close to three ofs. Three, ultra rare, ultra rare, ultra rare, ultra rare. So it's very good that these cards are being reprinted within a secret pack, but more importantly, the big card that's going to be in the secret pack is the brand new Dinomorphia Intact. Let's read this card. When a monster effect is activated while you control a Dinomorphia card, pay half your life, negate the activation, destroy that monster. Also, whenever you take battle damage this turn, the damage becomes half your life points at that time instead. Also, during damage calculation, if you're less than 2k life or you're at 2k, you could banish this card from the graveyard. You take no battle damage from that specific battle, and you can only activate one Dinomorphia Intact per turn. So the restriction of only activating one per turn, that is the activation while flipping it face up. When you activate this card from the graveyard, you're not activating the card, you're activating the effect. So that is not going to be a confliction with the monster negate. And you may be thinking, you have to control a Dinomorphia card. Well, let's look on over to YugiOhMeta.com, which is not released yet, but soon will be. Normally, you're going to be having your Dinomorphia Frenzy get Ash Blossomed. That's a big deal. So what happens if you have no other face-up monster on the field? You don't have your Therizia, you don't have Diplos. You just have a set Frenzy and a set Intact, which you're going to be playing three of this brand new card. And we're going to get to the other part of the secret pack in a bit. You flip up Dinomorphia Frenzy, they Ash. Can you Intact? Do you control a Dinomorphia card? Yes, the flip of the Frenzy, while it's flipped face up, before it resolves, that's considered owning and controlling a Dinomorphia card, thus meeting the requirement of the Intact. So you don't need to have a monster on the field. Just flipping up the trap and they try to Ash it, you're good to get Intacting, negating that monster effect. And you may be thinking, what makes this better than Solemn Strike? Well, it's also searchable. Therizia, on summon, you could set a Dinomorphia trap directly from your deck. So if you already have your Frenzy or you may already have your Domain and you want to play around Ash, set up the Dinomorphia Intact right then and there. And what's great about the Therizia is it's not ashable. So let's say they have two Ashes in their hand. You're going to use Therizia to set your Intact. Then on their turn, you're going to Frenzy. They're going to Ash. You're going to Intact. And then you're going to possibly win the duel because the deck is all about summoning your Dinomorphia Rex Term. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters they control that have attack greater than or equal to your life points. And by activating your Intact, you're now at 4,000 life. By activating your Frenzy, you're at 2,000 life. So any monster that's 2,000 attack or higher, they cannot activate. It does not negate. It prevents the activation. You could further reduce your life points by activating Rex Term to change the attack of all opponents' monsters on the field to become your life points. So you would then pay your life points down to 1,000, they become 1,000 attack, and then they now cannot activate. And because this changes the attack of the opposing monsters, this could be used in the damage step. You don't have to wait outside of it, where the damage step, it's going to be a lot harder to respond to a card like this. Now, what else is good about this change is that we have some data on how Japan is playing the deck. They're playing the deck a little bit differently. If we look at TCG, we do have quite a bit of TCG decks. They got a YCS top, two YCS tops from May till November. We have some regional tops. We have the player count there, 165 players, 165, 120. This was 2,200 players, top 16. And then we have 1,500 players of a top 32. Now, what is the big difference? We have Miscellaneous Source limited to 1 in TCG, and for some reason, they don't like Fossil Dig at 3. Fossil Dig, Search, and Therizia. Therizia being able to set up your Intact or your Frenzy, so that's really consistent. Why are they not playing this at 3 when Japan is? If we look at the breakdown here, 100% at 3, and that is over 3 different decks here. 69-player tournament, 32-player tournament. Admittedly, the tournaments in Japan are not as large and as competitive, but they should still be considered when deck building. And you have the Fossil Dig, which if you already have Thrisia, you could search for Miscellaneous Source, making your monsters on, it's going to be during the main phase, that is, unaffected from activated effects. So a big out to the Rex term is going to be Impermanence. And they do have to imperm in the draw phase or standby phase to play around the miscellaneous play. So if you were to Fossil Dig, search Miscellaneous, keep it in your hand, then normal summon your Thrisia, set up for the Rex turn, summon the Rex turn, but when are you summoning it? You're summoning it in the main phase, which then the Miscellaneous will protect it completely. They're going to have to then enter the battle phase to use that Impermanence, and they got to be an open field to even use it on you. So this is incredible protection. I think incredible consistency also. Fossil Digging, Thrisia, or the Miscellaneous. That's probably how I'm going to be playing it at 3. Now, Pot of P is limited to 1 in Master Duel and in OCG, down to 1. They do have it at 3 in TCG. Another big disruption form of the Dynamorphia deck here. Wait, what the heck? They're also playing Arius, the Labyrinth Butler? That's interesting. And don't worry, we're going to get to the other part of the secret pack in a bit. We have the Ferret Flames, which is a really good form of disruption in the deck. As you're continually reducing your own life points, you have non-targets spin their fields back into the deck, their field being face-up monsters. So if you're at 1,000 life points after continually paying half of your life, they are then going to have to, with their field of monsters, they have to return them back in the deck until they have 1,000 attack or less in the field. And if that's not possible, then they lose their entire field, and it's non-targeting. You have cards like Trap Trick, which is going to be giving you access to the Ferret Flames, giving you access to the Dynamorphia Frenzy. We also had a new card release similar to Trap Tricks that we may be playing. I think it's called Tricks something. Let me type in Trap. There's a lot of cards. Trap Trick. I forget what the card is exactly. It is destroy your monster to then set a trap from your deck. Very similar to Trap Trick. I will have to look it up another time. I was not prepared to talk about this card, but we did recently get it in Master Duel, and I have no idea where the freaking card is. Maybe in the comments you could tell me what's good. But the biggest counter to this deck being Ash Blossom, and now we have easy access to the Intact through Thrisia, through Fossil Dig, and that's going to be huge for the deck. I do think that this deck is a contender for being possibly tier 3. As you can see, this is the OCG decks, and then here are the TCG ones. I want to talk about an interesting ruling with Soul of the Supreme King, though. This deck list is quite interesting to me, and they're not playing a card that I think is a cool combo with the card. This pays half your life points down to then special summon a Supreme King Z-Arc, so it's got the synergy with the deck of reducing your life points. So if you got Soul of the Supreme King plus the Dynamorphia Domain and or the Frenzy, you're going to be continually paying your life points down, and this will help towards it. You summon your Supreme King Z-Arc, and what this states is, if special summon, destroy all cards your opponent controls, but it is negated by the Soul of the Supreme King. There's a card that could get around it being negated, and then you could double up on this being able to, if you didn't know the original effect of your opponent activates a spell while this is in the graveyard, you banish this card plus the Supreme Z King Arc, and then you get the special summon from your extra deck a Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, which will negate a spell or trap card from your opponent. That's nuts. He's also playing the Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon, which this will not activate to put your opponent's monster to 0 attack, but negate the activated effects of monsters with 0 attack. I'm not really too sure why he was playing this. Maybe there's some prevalent meta monsters that are at 0 attack that this was negating. Otherwise, you're mostly summoning the Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. Now, let's get to the point here. You summon your Supreme King Z-Arc, then it activates, it is negated, but if you chain a trap called Daruma, Daruma will flip the entire field face down. It is searchable with a card like Trap Trick, and what's going to happen is by flipping a monster face down, it's no longer negated. Now, if you were to, let's say, chain Compulse, spin this off the field, or chain Destroy it, it's still negated. But by flipping down, it abides by different rulings. It wipes away it being negated. Thus, you could then double this up as wiping out your opponent's entire field with the Supreme Z King Arc, plus, in addition to that, getting the Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon out with the other effect of them activating a spell. And it's also the activation of the effect of a spell, not just the activation of the card, making this even more versatile and something that I'm definitely going to be looking forward to be playing in my version of the deck, testing out the Daruma play of wiping out the field that I just told you. Now, there's some cards you don't have here, like the Typhon. That's okay. Now, let's get to the other part of the Dinomorphia Secret Pack. Are you ready? Boom. Transcendosaurus. This is also going to be in the secret pack. Again, this is a secret pack, not a selection pack. And are any of these cards being used in the TCG or OCG? Well, Transcendosaurus Gigantozauler is being used in a few Dino decks here. We have some deck lists here. We have a regional 170 players. We have an OCG 30-player tournament. And then we have a 340 Massachusetts regional hold. Damn, that's a lot of players. I think we were getting about 300 to 400 players in the Florida regionals. That's pretty damn nice. Now, why were they playing this? Let's assume we have an easy way to summon this. Let's just read the effect, and then we'll go from there, and we'll talk about how they're summoning this and how you may want to be picking up your Dino deck because, by the way, if we look at Dinos in TCG and OCG, I think they're the most free in Master Duel. Is that true? Oh, wait, Oviraptor at 3 in TCG. What about Miscellaneousaurus? Limited to 1 in TCG. So the deck getting regional tops in TCG when we have triple Miscellaneousaurus, that's something I'm very much excited for. Okay, it looks like OCG also has the same restrictions as us, as it being unrestricted. We have triple Pancratops if we wanted to play more than one for some reason. Now, let's get back to this card that's going to be in the secret pack. If this card is special summoned, you could target one dinosaur monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Then, if this card was special summoned from the graveyard, you could destroy 2 cards, one from your hand or field, and one your opponent controls. So on its initial summon, obviously it's going to be coming from our extra deck, and it's not going to get the pop 2 cards effect, one from yours and then one from your opponent, which is non-target poppage, by the way. And when a card says then, it must perform the first part successfully in order to get the then effect. So if you special summon this, you got to target the dino they chain, let's say DD Crow, or if they were to Bestial, a lighter dark dino that you're targeting, you don't then get the effect of popping 2 cards, one from yourself and one from the opponent. Now, how do we special summon this from the graveyard? Are we using it with another card, something like Sprite Elf, that were to be able to summon a level 12 from the graveyard somehow? Not that Sprite Elf could summon this, but we're going to summon it through its own effect. If this card is destroyed, you could shuffle a normal monster from your graveyard into the deck. Then you could special summon this card from the grave. And Dinos is all about destroying your own cards. Destroy with Oviraptor, destroy with the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. There's another card we're going to look at that destroys your own cards, and that would be the play to get this going. And if you have a quick effect way to pop this card during the opponent's turn, it's now extra disruption. You get to, during the opponent's turn, non-target pop, 1 card your opponent controls, and we're going to see if there's an easy way to set that up. So how do we summon this, and how do we set up the poppage if we were to look at these deck lists? Let's click on maybe let's look at the 340-player regional one. That's probably the most competitive version of the deck here. So we have the normal monster, Frostosaurus, and then we have this new monster, Xenometeorus. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, if a card, not this card, if any card is destroyed by battle or card effect your opponent or your own, you could special summon this card from your hand, and then during the main phase, you could destroy 1 dino in your hand or field. Then you could special summon a dino normal monster from your hand or deck. Also, you could not special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Dino, Dragon, Sea Serpent, Worm. Okay, so that's not really specific synergy with the fusion, but this is the card that has that synergy with the fusion, the main way to summon this. What does this say? You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Now, this is the Japanese text, the easier way to read the card, which I wish that Konami TCG would just apply this. I mean, look at the card on the picture. Look at that paragraph, and then look how it's nicely separated, the OCG translation. Well, why not? Why can't we have this? What's going on, Konami? Now, anyway, add a dinosaur tuner or normal monster from your deck to your hand, then destroy 1 card in your hand. But the main effect that we're going to care about for the fusion summon is going to be, you could banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon 1 dinosaur fusion from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. And you could use both effects. You could get to add a dinosaur plus get that fusion effect, set up your Transcendosaurus, and then what's going to be the main way to pop it? Maybe you want to pop it through Ultimate Conductor Tyranno during the opponent's turn. Pop it, and then you get that additional pop a card on the field. We got Oviraptor during your own turn if you want to brute force your opponent. Drop the miscellaneous source, make yourself unaffected from activated effects, and then you just have that extra disruption. Summoning this, then popping it. And it's also 3,800 attack. That's huge. 3,800, popping it, resummoning it. It is a hard once per turn on the pop, though, so we're not going to continually pop it, then summon it, pop it, then summon it. That is quite interesting. And there you go. I'm looking forward to the next pack having all these cards. We'll go back to the Dinomorphia breakdown here so you could see again. This is how the TCG was playing the deck, and this is how the OCG was playing the deck. A mix between both of them is going to probably be the way to play it. It's going to be interesting to see if we're going to be on the triple fossil dig train. I think I will be because, I mean, damn, I mean, Search and Therizia or Miscellaneous, that's what I'm thinking. I think that is going to be the way. And that is it for the video of what the new Secret Pack coming is going to be providing. Again, I'll be streaming December pack leaks, a ton of leaks during the stream. I may do another leak YouTube video tomorrow. If not, just show up to the stream and you're going to be getting a lot of leaks throughout the entire stream because the pack is coming out soon. I appreciate you all very much. We are done.